Saram students, let's begin with the class 8 geography chapter 3, that is mineral and power resources. Today we are doing with the part 3 of this chapter. Let's go through the content. We have already learned introduction, types of minerals, distribution of minerals, right? In our first part we learned about the introduction, that is the meaning of minerals, then the types of minerals and the method that were used for the extraction of minerals. Then in our second presentation we have learnt about the distribution of minerals, right? In that we have seen the distribution of minerals all over the world, that is in each and every continent separately we saw. Asia, Europe, South America, Africa, Antarctica, Australia, and then we learnt about the distribution of minerals in India, correct? Then today we are going to start with the next topic, that is uses of minerals. Now, before starting with the uses of minerals, just let me tell you about minerals are used in a number of industries, right? Do you all agree with this thing? Yes. Even we all use the minerals in our day-to-day life, correct? Minerals which are used like for gems are usually, you know about the gems, diamonds, even that are all considered as the minerals. Gold, silver, everything comes under the minerals, right? So minerals which are used for gems are usually hard. These are then set in various styles for jewelry. Now here in this images, in this slide you can see I have given you the images related to the gems as well as the jewelry. Then copper is another metal which is used in everything. That is, everything means from coins to pipe. You know very well copper is used in so many things we keep on seeing in our everyday life, right? So copper is one of the metal which is used in many of the things. So here I have given you some images: copper wires, copper pipes, copper coins, many things we have in copper. Then silicon used in the computer industry is obtained from quartz. Aluminium is obtained from its ore bauxite, is used in automobiles and airplanes, even bottling industry, buildings, and even in the kitchen cookware. See, you all know very well, we can see the aluminium has been used in our day-to-day life. In kitchen also, even the bottling industry also uses the same aluminium. Here I have given you the images, some images to make you understand about that. Then the next topic we are going to start here with the conservation of resources, right? See, we know very well the minerals are a non-renewable resources, right? It takes thousands of years for the formation and the concentration of minerals. The rate of formation is much smaller than the rate at which the humans consume these minerals. See, if we compare the rate of formation of these minerals, whereas the rate of consumption, definitely the rate of consumption is much more than the rate of formation. So, what should be done for that? So, as I told you, it takes thousands of years for the formation and the concentration of minerals. The rate of formation also I told you is much lesser, much smaller than that of the consumption, right? So, it is necessary to reduce wastage in the process of mining. So, here you can see the 3 R's: recycle, reduce, reuse, recycle. This is what everybody has to follow, that we need to have the approach towards this policy only: reduce, reuse, recycle. Recycling of metals is another way in which the mineral resources can be conserved. Now, the next topic in this session, we are going to start with the power resources. Now, here, before starting with the topic, I'll just give you some examples related to this. Here, I'll tell you one small story. Sunny's mother begins her day by by switching on the geyser. Even she uses the iron for ironing the Sunny's uniform, and then she rushes to the kitchen to prepare a glass of orange juice, apple juice, whomsoever is required in that way. And for that she uses a blender at her home. So Sunny is asking, she's asking Sunny, have you finished taking bath? Then come and have your breakfast. This is what the mother is asking. Okay. calls out the mother while preparing breakfast on the gas stove for Sunny. While going to school, Sunny forgets to switch off lights and fans. He was dressing up and he was in hurry to go. So he forgot everything. He forgot to switch off the lights and fan. When mother switches them off, she thinks that life in the cities may be more comfortable. But a dependency on more and more gadgets, all of which consume energy, has led to a wide gap between the demand and the supply. You all agree to this thing. The demand of this power resources is very less, whereas demand is too much, whereas the supply is very less. So, with the advent of science and technology, the lifestyles are changing very fast. Now, if I am saying this, power or energy plays a vital role in our lives. I feel you all will agree with me on this thing, right? We also need power for industry, agriculture, transport, communication, defense. See, not only one category, but in each and every category, power, energy plays a very important role in our lives, correct? So, power resources may be broadly categorized as conventional and non conventional resources. Now, here the image has been given to you, that is a national power grid to supply electricity. Now, we are going to learn about the power resources in detail, the two categories, that is conventional and non conventional resources. Let's move to the conventional resources of this now. Conventional sources means what? Very first thing you should understand that. What is the meaning? What is the difference in conventional and non-conventional? Conventional sources of energy are those which have been in common use for a long time. Now the examples of these are firewood and fossil fuels. These are the two main conventional energy sources. Firewood. It is widely used for cooking and heating. If I'll say in our country, more than 50% of the energy used by villagers comes from firewood. I think you all will agree with me on this thing, right? The children, you can see the image here that has been given in your textbook also, a woman carrying firewood in northeast India. Now we are going to learn about the advantages of firewood as well as the disadvantages. These advantages and disadvantages are there in your textbook also. This table is given there. Yeah, advantages are easy access, we can get it easily, provides energy to a large number of people, right? And whereas if I'll talk about the disadvantages of this, it is collection is time consuming. Collecting the firewood is very difficult task, right? And polluting, even deforestation, and it is promoting greenhouse effect. Now, next, I told you the important conventional sources of energy. Two important were firewood and fossil fuels. In fossil fuels, now let's see what we are going to learn here. Remains of plants and animals which were buried under the earth for millions of years got converted by the heat and pressure into fossil fuels, such as now the examples are here coal, petroleum, and natural gas. These are the main sources of conventional energy. The reserves of these minerals are limited, right? Whereas the rate at which the growing world population is consuming them is far greater than the rate of their formation. This is what we discussed before also at the time of conservation, correct? So these are likely to be exhausted soon. Now the now in fossil fuels I told you we have coal, petroleum, natural gas and hydropower. This will be learning in detail in fossil fuels right now. Let's begin with the coal now here. This is the most abundantly found fossil fuel, right? It is found as it is also used as a domestic fuel. You all know very well this is what is the uses of coal, right? Even in industries such as iron and steel, steam engines, you all know about the steam engines also. Here I have given you the image of that steam engine. And even to generate electricity, we require coal, right? Electricity from coal is called as thermal power. The coal which we are using today was formed millions of years ago when giant ferns and swamps got buried under the layers of earth. So, therefore, coal is referred to as the buried sunshine. See, even today also it has been formed millions of years ago, but even today also we are using it. That is the reason it has been given the name as the buried sunshine. Here the image has been given to you, a view of the thermal power station. Now let's discuss about the leading coal producers of the world are China, USA, that is United States of America, Germany, Russia, South Africa and France. And whereas the coal producing areas of India are Raniganj, Jharia, Dhanbad and Bokaro in Jharkhand. Now let's go through the advantages and disadvantages of coal here. I told you this images have been given to you in your textbooks also. Okay, advantages, just go through that. Extensively available, right? And the second advantage is efficient conversion to electricity, whereas the disadvantage is polluting source, even bulky to transport. So these are the disadvantages of it. Then the next topic here, I told you after coal we have petroleum. The petrol that keeps your car running, as well as the oil that keeps your cycle from squeaking, both begin as a thick black liquid called petroleum. Now before starting, let's understand the originate how this word has from where it has originated. The word petroleum is derived from Latin word petra, meaning rock, oleum meaning oil. So petroleum, if we'll combine that petra and oleum, that is petroleum, that means rock oil. It is found between the layers of rocks and is drilled from oil fields located in offshore and coastal areas. This is then sent to the refineries which process the crude oil and produce a variety of products like diesel, petrol, kerosene, wax, plastics and lubricants. Therefore, petroleum and its derivatives are called as black gold as they are very valuable. So remember what that petroleum and its derivatives are called as. It is called as black gold. Now let's go through the producers. The chief petroleum producing countries are Iran, Iraq, Saudi Arabia and Qatar. The other major producers are USA, that is United States of America, Venezuela and Algeria. Now the leading producers in India are Digboy in Assam. Here I have marked that in Assam. And the next is Bombay High in Mumbai and the deltas of Krishna and Godavari rivers. Now here let's go through the advantages and disadvantages of petroleum. The advantages of petroleum includes easier to transport, that is through tankers that has been taken, and basis of petrochemical industry. Then the disadvantages are depletion of oxygen due to oil spillage and the gas leakage. See, if at times while taking that in the tankers there is oil spillage or the gas leakage, at that time the oxygen level, that there is a depletion of oxygen level there. Then the pollutants released caused acid rain. Even the exploration of new fuel is not easy. Now the next one is natural gas. Natural gas is found with petroleum deposits and is released when crude oil is brought to the surface. It can be used as a domestic and industrial fuel. Now here, compressed natural gas, that is CNG. I hope you all know very well about CNG. CNG is a popular eco-friendly automobile fuel as it causes less pollution than the petroleum and diesel. Now, it is, see this natural gas, it can be used as a domestic and industrial fuel, okay? And Russia, Norway, UK and the Netherlands, these are the major producers of natural gas. The sharp increase in our consumption of fossil fuels has led to their depletion at an alarming rate. The toxic pollutants released from burning these fuels are also the reason for concern. We need to have the concern for that also, the pollutants released from this burning fuels. So unchecked burning of fossil fuel is like an unchecked dripping tap, which will eventually run dry. So this has led to the tapping of various non-conventional sources of energy that are cleaner alternatives to fossil fuels. Now let's go through the production where we get the natural gases production in India. In India, we get it in Jaisalmer, that is Krishna Godavari Delta, as well as in Tripura. And even some areas offshore in Mumbai have natural gas resources. So we can say very few countries in the world have sufficient natural gas reserves of their own. Now let's go through the advantages and disadvantages of natural gas. Advantages is easier to transport through pipelines, and even it is cleaner than oil and coal, and even cheaper than oil. What about now? Let's see the disadvantages. It is very inflammable and it's not easy to carry. Then sometimes becomes dangerous on extreme heat, whereas the next is freezes in extreme cold. Now the next one we are going to learn here is hydel power. Rainwater stored in dams is made to fall from heights. Then the falling water flows through pipes inside the dam over turbine blades placed at the bottom of the dam. Then the moving blades then turn the generator to produce electricity. That is only called as the hydroelectricity. So hydel power is also called as the hydroelectricity. The water discharged after the generation. Now here the image has been given to you how that hydel power works. Now the water discharged after the generation of electricity is used for irrigation. So that water is not wasted but it is used for irrigation. 1/4 of the world's electricity is produced by hydel power. Now let's go through the leading producers of hydel power in the world are Paraguay, Norway, Brazil and China. Now some important hydel power stations in India are Bakranangal, Gandhi Sagar. Here I have marked each and every place for you. Nagarjuna Sagar and Damodar Valley projects. Now before completing this, let's go through that advantages and disadvantages. Now let's go through the advantages and disadvantages of hydel power. Advantages here, it's non-polluting, even it promotes irrigation and fishing, and it is cheap. Now whereas the disadvantages includes displacement of local community, inundated low-lying region, and even expensive to set up. The whole setup is very difficult, very expensive. So these are the disadvantages of hydel power. So today here, let's have the quick recap like what we have learned in the today's session. We have learned about the uses of minerals. Then we learned about the conservation of minerals, that is 3 R's: reduce, reuse, recycle, right? Then we saw the power resources. The power resources were divided in two categories, that is conventional sources of energy and another one is non-conventional sources of energy. So today in conventional sources of energy we learnt about the firewood and the fossil fuels, and fossil fuels was included what? Coal, petroleum, natural gas, hydel power, right? And we learnt the advantages and disadvantages of each and every type, right? Each and every conventional sources today. So in our next session we are going to learn about the non-conventional sources of energy. Till then, take care.